What's up, guys? It's your boy Killer Rap back at it again, and I still to this day do not know where I'm supposed to look on the screen to get the camera to look at you guys. I think it's up here or down there. Anyway, I digress, but today we're back at it with the next step on the NF journey. This track is called Wake Up, and it's starting with Someone in a Bed. Well, surprise, surprise. I'll link the playlist that I'm using in the description. Again, if you think that I'm missing something, make sure to let me know in the comments, and I'll adjust accordingly. But this is just very convenient because I can just hit the next song and then let it play. So anyway, without much further ado, if you like what I'm doing and want to come along for the ride, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like the video so that more people can join us. Anyway, let's get into it. Wake up. Alright. So far, so good.
You spend your life in a dream that you can't escape.
Alright.
Cause you live your life in a coma, you never awake.
I'm just gonna pause it for a second, but this is already a very different song. Very, very different song. I like the range he's just showcasing. I'm like 3 songs in and he's just showcased so much different range. His singing chop, he's got some singing chops. I think I mentioned it in the end of the last video, but like this guy can sing, and clearly this is a bit more of a different type of emotional vibe he's going for, and I like it. I like the visuals. Already the song is touching on some pretty heavy stuff already. Hashtag simulation, the universe is a simulation. Anyway.
You never awake. If you'd open your eyes, then maybe you'd see what's at stake.
Hold on a second.
Yes.
Are those his parents? Is this supposed to be his family? Because I see 2 people with one little young ass kid, and I know there were some problems with his childhood, so I'm gonna go ahead and make the call that this is about his family growing up. Let's see if I'm right.
Sleep at stake.
Did they ruin his family?
You're sleeping. You're sleeping. You make a lot of money and you live in a mansion and pretty much got everything that you could ever imagine. But you feel like even though you got everything in the world, you got nothing. So what you do then is you start going backwards. You run in a direction and you looking for something that isn't real. No, you know is that you just gotta have it. What you doing is sleeping and thinking that you're awakening and not. And the problem is that you don't know what you're after. So you put everything that you have into what you do, hoping that one day maybe you don't have to feel like you're empty. But as you get older, a lot of weight in your shoulders is getting heavy. Then you look back and you start to regret that.
Man, this is getting real deep so fast. It's about, trying to fill the void in your life with putting yourself into your work 100%. I suspect this is something he probably struggles with. One thing I want to comment on is the imagery here, because the more typical, sort of stereotypical imagery is that of the father who's overworking and neglecting his family. But in this case, it's actually a woman, which is kind of an interesting switch of the stereotypical gender roles, which I think is it's good. I mean, not necessarily supporting the idea that anyone should be working too hard, but I do like the portrayal of a hardworking woman, which is pretty cool. Anyway, just a side note. Also, he's spitting fire. I don't need to say that. You already know he's spitting fire.
But as you get older, a lot of weight in your shoulders is getting heavy. Then you look back and you start to regret things. You only get one life, and every time you look into yours, you feel like everything you have is a waste. And the problem and the reason you can never fill a hole in your life is because you were never awake.
That's deep. That's deep. You're right. People, I see what he's saying, right? This is already getting so deep. Like, there's a book. It might be an article. I don't know. It's a very, very popular, but it's kind of an interesting philosophical discussion. I think it was a nurse, an ER nurse, who spoke to people on their deathbeds, right? And they said, "What are the 5 biggest regrets you had in your life?" Well, they didn't say what were the 5, but they just said, what were the biggest regrets you had in your life, right? And then she made a list, and the number 1 thing was not spending time with their loved ones. And among the other things were like not having enough experiences, not taking more time to be healthy, not enjoying my young youth, blah blah blah. It was never about not having worked harder. It's never It's never about, oh, I didn't achieve my dreams. Oh, I didn't work so hard. I didn't, put enough effort into my day job. I didn't try hard enough to be a good rapper, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? It was never about that. It's always about connections with people. It's always about self-actualization, but from a, mental and health perspective. It has nothing to do with your success as an individual within society, right? Spend time with your loved ones. And that's kind of what he's trying to say, is most people go through their lives living in this kind of narrow-minded box framework that society puts on them, just to keep the economic machine of whatever country they're living in work, or keep it running, right? Like, that's not how you should be living your life. That's, living in this dream state, as he's like trying to put it. And he's saying that once you realize that, and once you really try to push outside of that box and try to spend time with your family or spend time with your dog, whatever it is, like once you try to enjoy your life in a more meaningful way, that's when you've woken up. That's when you're living your real life. Because there's a difference between a dream life where you get this experience but you don't feel the feelings of that dream, right? It's not long lasting, and most people forget their dreams. And I guess that's another deeper layer of this metaphor, is like people forget their dreams. Almost every day people have dreams, but they forget them. So anyway, just wanted to stop and muse about that for a little bit, because some deep stuff already.
Your life is because you were never awake. You spend your life in a dream that you can't escape.
What's the point of building up this massive mansion if you don't have anyone to enjoy it with? Bars.
You're never awake.
I can totally see this. Totally see this.
But feel like you never got up and go to work, and you feeling like you ain't got a purpose, and you trying to get motivated, but everything you do turns into a mess, like you ain't nothing but worthless. And you look around, a lot of these other people you looking at, to you describe as perfect. So you point a finger at God and tell him to do his job and fix your life up, cause nothing is working. And you would try to hide it and make it seem like it's nothing, but really you feel like everything is crashing around you. And you develop the problem in trusting in other people, which later became an issue that would mentally pound you. You only get one life, but every time you look into yours, you feel like all you ever see are mistakes. And the problem and the reason you can never move forward in life is because you were never awake. Wake up.
Damn. So this is like clearly a separate story. Like, okay, I was probably wrong about this being about his parents, but this is interesting because this is a different type of perspective, right? People who view themselves as failures, or who don't think they're living up to their societal standards, or who don't feel like they're as successful as others. It's a similar type of, it's exactly the same message at the end of the day, because even the people who are very successful, or the people who are so obsessed with, their own lives and trying to make it better, or like people who think they're failures, blah, blah, blah. None of that stuff matters when you're on your deathbed. It's about making the connections and, finding people to care about, finding something to care about. It's not about trying to, get a nice house or whatever, right? So just this comparison game that people play is definitely hurtful. And, I really feel for this guy, because this is, I relate to this guy a little bit more. Maybe not personally, but, it's just where I'm from and the life that I lived. I've seen more of this type of life than that of people who are extremely successful and, super rich and neglecting their families, right? I see a lot more people struggling to make ends meet, struggling to, be what society feels to be successful. And it's, maybe it's a cultural thing, because in South Asian culture, the social pressures are so immense. But, I relate to this a lot. And you know what? Loneliness is an epidemic, right? Especially in the social era. We're all lonely. We're all, trying to find connections is harder, and especially during the fucking pandemic, right? Part of my language. I know that NF doesn't swear, but that's just who I am. It's so hard, right? And I don't blame any of you for relating to this music, for trying to, even for people watching this video right now, for all intents and purposes. The reason reaction videos work is because people are there looking for someone else to connect to and to, relate to and stuff, right? And for those of you watching, I don't know, hope I'm looking at the camera. if you need someone to talk to, if you need a friend, just let me know in the comments. I'm gonna respond right away. You know, I'm here to listen to your problems, because you know, I know it's a hard time and everyone needs someone to listen to and talk to. So I'm always here. If you want to reach out to me directly, just hit me up at KillerApp on YouTube, Killer, or on Twitter, Killer@KillerApp. So if you want to talk to, just let me know. That's it. Yeah, it's a crazy time, but you're never really alone. As long as you know there's always someone you can talk to.
The problem and the reason you can never move forward in life is because you were never awake. Wake up. You spend your life in a dream that you can't escape. Cause you live your life in a corner.
That sucks.
You're never awake.
Damn, this dude's really having a breakdown. Love the soundscape of the different choruses. Oh, are those two about to meet? You know what? Man, this is a hell of a video. Hell of a video. Oh, he aged. There he is. They're old now and they're, you know, regretting their lives or whatever. So I just want to touch on this because this kind of ties back to something he said in All I Have, the last video I did. Don't tell me that my pain isn't real, or something like that, right? And this video really does a great job of exemplifying that. It's really cool to see all the strings that are kind of tying together. But basically, you see two people who have very, very different lives, right? They have very different socioeconomic situations. But they have very similar struggles at the end of the day, right? Suffering is universal. And that's really, I guess, the message of this in some ways, right? Just don't get so bottlenecked or cardboard boxed or boxed in, you know, with these societal aspirations. Try to just find things you care about, find connections, etc. Cool stuff. Really enjoyed it. Actually, you know, one of my favorite tracks by him, probably. I've only heard like 3 or 4, so bear with me. There's a lot more to come. But yeah, loved it. Very good. Very good. Excellent stuff. And good visuals to go with it. So anyway, if you like that, let me know what to do next. Actually, wait. I'm going to be following it, the playlist here. So next I'm going to be doing Notepad. I'm just letting you know now. But if you want to come along for the journey, again, just hit the subscribe button. Let me know how you feel. Let me know, you know, your thoughts on the song. Absolutely open to hearing all different interpretations. So anyway, that's that. KillerApp signing out. Peace.